Welcome. This video will provide you with some presentation best practices for your next web conference. I am Professor Meg Downey with Bellevue College. Today, we are going to learn presentation skills for webcasts and webinars. Regardless of the type of web conference, you will want to minimize disruptions. Your background should be neutral and not distracting. Your hair and makeup should be natural. Your hair should be out of your eyes. You want to minimize noisy jewelry, and you also want to minimize any distracting clothing. You'll want to make sure that you have the best lighting, and you also want to make sure that your camera is eye level. Depending on your camera placement, you may need to prop up your laptop. I've included a New York Times article that discusses some best lighting practices and camera placement. If you need notes for your presentation, be sure that they are eye level with the camera. You can open the camera, but record and have your notes open on the screen. That is an option if you don't wish to have notes hanging behind the camera. As for sound, you will always want to make sure that you can easily be heard. Turn off fans and any loud machines that you have near the computer. If you have any animals, it's best not to have them in the room while you're speaking. Let individuals in your household know that you're about to record. Ask them for help in keeping background noise to a minimum. Make sure any props, visual aids like PowerPoints, graphs, or pie charts are easily read. Think about color contrasts, font size, and the number of key images and facts on the screen at any given time. If your target audience is older, say maybe in their 40s or older, you want to make sure that the font sizes are legible to older eyes. Put yourself in the point of view of your target audience. Now that you're set up, you can get ready for your presentation. What is the most important thing for your audience? What do they care about the most? It's how long is this presentation going to be? It's your responsibility to ensure that you have properly allocated for time. Under no circumstances should you go over your allotted time. For large conferences or events with multiple live trainings, you will need to determine if bathroom breaks or lunch breaks, when those are necessary, because it's not an if, it's a when. To ensure proper timing, it's imperative that you practice your speech so you know how long each section will be. You will have an introduction, you'll review the agenda or any other topics that you're going to cover. You'll have a hands-on description of each of those key points. And then your conclusion will wrap up any of those agenda items. Finally, you'll have your Q&A session. If your event encourages engagement, take a moment to discuss polling or chat features. Depending on the size of your audience, you may wish to allow for questions to be asked verbally in real time. There should be no dead air or any time where you're transitioning from one presenter to the next. If the Q&A runs long, tell your audience. They're welcome to drop off, but you'll stay and you'll stick around for any questions. If there's a way that you can provide follow-up for any unanswered questions, that would be my recommendation, and you should always plan for that time. A post-conference fact sheet you can provide the audience and maybe post on your LinkedIn page. Remember, people don't pay attention to the entire time that you're speaking. That's human nature. You need to clearly explain your agenda, the key points that you're going to raise, and then you'll go into detail. But then it's even more important to wrap up and remind them what you covered. That's how you keep your audience engaged, and that's actually how you keep your audience coming back to listen to you. Now, with that said, I challenge you to implement some of these presentation best practices in your next webinar.